Hi there and welcome to another video from Hegarty Maths. It's Mr. Hegarty here, and in this video we're talking about depreciation. So previously on Hegarty Maths we have linked percentage changes with a decimal multiplier that we can use to find those percentage changes of an amount. So could you pause the video and tell me what decimal multipliers would you use for these increases and decreases? Right. For an increase by 7%, you'll have 107% on the end, which means you can multiply by 1.07. For 27%, you would multiply by 1.27. For 27.9%, you would multiply by 1.279. And by 50%, you would multiply by 1.50 or 1.5. For a decrease, now you've just got to be a bit more careful here, they're slightly harder. You think 100 take away 7 is 93%, so you would multiply by 0.93. 100 take away 27 is equal to 73, so you would multiply by 0.73. 100 take away 2773, so take off another 0.9, and that would be multiplying by 0.721. And lastly, decrease by 50%, you would multiply by, well, 100 take away 50 is 50, so 0.50. Now, in the previous video on compound interest, we were using percentage increase decimal multipliers, okay, because our bank account was going up in value. Now, in this video, we're going to do something called depreciation, and depreciation is where the value of something actually goes down. Okay, and we're going to have to use the decimal multipliers that are a decreasing percentage. So let me show you an example. We've done this question. Colin, with his bank account, gets compound interest, rate of 4%, 3 years. You would type in your calculator 5,000 multiplied by the decimal multiplier for a 4% increase is 1.04, and it's for 3 years, so you do it to the power of 3. You tap it in your calculator and get an answer. But this question is about depreciation. Let's think of it. It's the same numbers. Colin's car is worth £5,000. Unfortunately, cars generally go down in value other than Aston Martins and classic cars. So a car is worth £5,000. His car depreciates. That means goes down in value. So you've got to be able to pick out the word, whether it's depreciate or compound interest, which means going up. At a rate of 4%, how much will Colin's car be worth after 3 years? Well, it was originally worth 100%. If you subtract 4%, you're left with 96%. Therefore, my decimal multiplier is 0.96. The equivalent question of saying what's a 4% decrease is what is 96% of something, okay? So how would we work it out? It's exactly like this. We would do 5,000 multiplied by, but it's a decrease, so 0.96 to the power of 3. And we would type that in our calculator. So let's do that. We would say 5,000 multiplied by 0.96 to the power of 3, and we would get ourselves, press the SD button, 442368. So we get ourselves 4,423 pounds and 68 pence. And these are the styles of questions we're doing in this video, all about depreciation, so using decimal multipliers for a percentage decrease. Right, let's try another one. Try and pause the video and try each one before I go through. Okay, so Sarah has a car worth this amount. It depreciates at a rate of 4.7%. Now when it's going down, I find it easier to work out the decimal multiplier, but actually thinking of the percent. If you start off with 100% and you subtract 4.7%, take off 4%, you get 96%, take off another 0.3%, and you're going to get yourself 95.3%, which as a decimal is 0.953. So our calculation will be £5,489.12 multiplied by 0.953 for how many years? Well, for 3 years, so to the power of 3. So calculator out, and we just type 5489.12 multiplied by 0.953 to the power of 3, and we get ourselves our answer. Out in full, we would say 4750.96058 and we would round that to 2 decimal places because it's money. The value of the car is £4,750 and 96 pence. So look, it's gone down in value from £5,489 to that. And that's it, simple as that. Depreciation is the same idea but just going down. Let's try another question. Dan's car depreciates at a rate of 10% per year. What percentage to the nearest percent has Dan's car depreciated after 5 years? We don't know how much Dan's car cost at the start, but we do know a typical way of setting out the calculation. It's the amount, isn't it, that his car's worth, and we're going to multiply it by a decimal multiplier. Now, if the car was worth 100% at the start and you're decreasing by 10%, you're taking off 10%, and that is 90%. So our decimal multiplier is 0.90. So our original amount, the amount of his car, we're going to multiply it by 0.90 to the power of 5. Okay? Now, the really cool thing about decimal multipliers, we can imagine that amount still being here like this. We can actually just work this out, right? We can type that into our calculator. 0.9, we don't need the 0 at the end, to the power of 5 like that, and it gets us the following answer. This here, this thing above, is the exact same as the decimal 0.59049. That equals that there. Now that's telling us therefore that in one move, what percentage decreases this like? Well, this indicates that we've got left 59.049% of what we originally had. That's how much we've got of the original amount. So what percentage decrease is that? Well, we would do 100 subtract 59.049, okay, and we would get ourselves the answer 40.951% decrease. Now they asked it to the nearest percent. The nearest percent to that is therefore a 41% decrease. Okay, and if that's a bit rusty for you, go back to the repeated percentage change videos and the decimal multiply videos where we did lots of those examples there. But essentially 0.9 to the power of 5, if we work it out and we get 0.59, that tells us that our original amount, we've got 59% of it originally, 59.049%. So therefore, what was the percent decrease? It must be 100 subtract that, and 100 subtract that works out about 41%. Okay, let's do one last example, a slightly harder case. Sarah's car is worth £18,000. Her car depreciates at a rate of 14% per year. How many years does it take for her car to be worth less than £10,000? So here we know how much her car originally cost, we know the depreciation rate, but we don't know how many years that we're going to depreciate that. That's what we've got to work out, and we want to work out when that works out less than £10,000. Now to depreciate by 14%, you originally have 100%. If you subtract 14%, you're left with 86%. So as a decimal multiplier, that's 0.86, isn't it? So let's set up our usual scenario. Our usual scenario would be £18,000. We multiply it by a decimal multiplier 0.86, but this time we don't know how many years to do it for, but we know we want to get an answer less than £10,000, right? So what are we going to do? Well, we're going to get our calculator out and we're going to try numbers, okay? Try the number 1, try the number 2, etc. 18,000 multiplied by 0.86 to the power of something. So let's try 1. That's no good. That's 15,000. We want to get less than 10,000. So I'm going to go up to maybe 5. Oh, we're already less than 10,000. I jumped too many steps. So I'm going to go back to 3. Okay, for 3 years you're worth £11,000. So 4 years you're worth £9,846, and that's less than £10,000. So we're going to type that in to show the examiner we could do that question. Type 18,000 multiplied by what we found on our calculator, 0.86. Okay, and therefore we state the answer. Therefore it takes 4 years for the car to be worth less than £10,000. So just 4 years. And there you go, that's everything for depreciation. Thanks for watching.